Okay, guys. It is, let's see, probably 2:30 p.m. on Thursday, February 1st. And I actually just got out of a long morning in court where I had to be a witness for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in a case against a fellow tenant who followed me into the office of the building complex where I live and threatened to, quote, make me go away and beat the F out of this crazy white bitch. So I have no problem being called a crazy white bitch because it really doesn't bother me. It's whatever. People want to think I'm crazy. That's on them. I know I'm not, and my medical records indicate that I have no mental health history whatsoever. I know that. So does anybody who's worked with me over the last 18 years or who knows me well. So if people who don't know me want to think I'm crazy or ugly, that's on them. Am I white? Yeah. So I don't really care if they call me a crazy white bitch or an ugly white bitch, whatever. But my point is, the opposing counsel for today's case was trying to make this issue about race and about skin color because the defendant happens to be a different skin color than I am. Do I have a problem with people whose skin color is not the same as mine? Of course not. That's the most ridiculous thing in the world because anyone with a brain in their head knows that skin color is simply pigment levels in the outer layer of your skin and consequently has absolutely nothing to do with anything whatsoever other than the pigment of the skin. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world to think that skin color has anything to do with anything. It doesn't. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's proceed to people who think that everything is about skin color. They are mentally lazy. We live in a very complex society. Most social issues are multi-layered, meaning there are multiple feeder issues going into greater overarching issues, such as poverty or crime or educational discrepancies. It is never about one thing, and it is rarely ever about something as superficial as skin color. Skin color has nothing to do with intelligence, has nothing to do with talent or ability. I mean, look at all the great singers and performers and athletes and even thinkers and economists that we have that are of different ethnicities than, the people who founded this country. Obviously, pigment in your skin has nothing to do with anything. But these days, people who are mentally lazy chalk everything up to skin color because they don't want to go into the many details of what constitute a number of social issues. One of them is crime. So crime is not about skin color. It's about money, actually. It's about economics. And the person who I was in court with this morning seems to be, committing a lot of crimes. I'm assuming it's because this person, has some economic issues, right? Like they don't work. Or maybe they have a job, but they don't make enough money. And is that about their skin color? No, it's about their education. It's about maybe their level of motivation. Like maybe they should aim a bit higher in the jobs that they try to apply for, right? I don't know anything about this person's work history or anything like that, but I do know that when you're desperate, you're more likely to commit crimes. Does poverty disproportionately affect certain ethnicities or skin colors more than others? Not really, because in this country, the poorest people in the United States across the board are actually white. They live in Appalachia. They live in the South. And Appalachia is verifiably the poorest section of this country, and it is mostly white. Are there very poor minority neighborhoods in inner cities? Yes, of course. Chicago, Philadelphia, other cities like LA. But really, there are equally large numbers of poor white people in this country as there are poor African Americans and poor Latinos. So poverty is really not so much about skin color. It's really more about opportunity, demographics, like what part of the country you grew up in. Is your area rich with a lot of industry and jobs and opportunities, or is it like, an economic desert where nobody can find work regardless of what they look like? So, I'm just going to forgive the opposing counsel for trying to make this issue about skin color, but it's not. It's about behavior and it's about money. So, again, I think that the person who keeps threatening me and getting really aggressive towards me does that because of economics. Maybe they see me as somehow being more privileged than them, but we live in the same building complex, and I really, I'm not wealthy at all. I have been struggling since the pandemic to, have disposable income. So there's that. I mean, people have perceptions about other people that are incorrect. But again, this issue is not about me being racist, because I'm not. There is nothing that has anything to do with skin color at all in this world. There isn't. There's no genetic tie to skin color and IQ, or skin color and your earning potential, or skin color and your athletic ability, or skin color and, anything else. So people who chalk everything up to race, no, it's not that simple, and maybe you should do a little bit more homework.